Hey everyone, welcome to Two Chatty Chicks, Teaching Eclectic Creations. I'm Maury Curtis Dunbar, the owner of Painted Studio in Brookfield, Illinois, and I'm just doing a little live for Renee as she is not feeling her best. So we're doing some fun stuff, so send Renee some love. And we're going to do some fun projects. Hey, Teresa and Nancy, nice to see you here. Thanks for popping in. So on my own page yesterday, I was showing how we make these Christmas tote bags with our heat transfer vinyl adhesive and cutouts done on our Cricut Maker or Silhouette or whichever cutter you currently have. So that one I did yesterday, and you can see we have a Believe in the Magic of Christmas on this side, and we have in hunter green foil, and then we have our Santa face on this side. Now eventually, and I'll do this a little later in the live, we're going to outline all this stuff because those fine lines that were cut with the Santa face are a little too fine to read clearly. So if I use our Deco Foil liquid adhesive in the squeeze bottle with the writing tip on here, we'll get some nice detail on our designs. But before we go there, we're gonna play with our other bags. Now this one yesterday, I did a cutout on our heat transfer vinyl adhesive of a truck with a Christmas tree on it. And on the other side, I did a couple of little cute ornaments. On a different bag, we did candy canes. Look how cute those are. So we're gonna finish up working on those bags. They're fun and easy to do. So I'm gonna flip this down so you can see, and I have been working on my light, so hopefully you all should be able to see much more clearly. I brought more lights in, extra lights in, brighter lights in, so hopefully we should have a good, real, good well-lit surface for you all to see. Now I'm gonna scroll down here. Here we go. Let me see if I can just a hair. There we go. So you can see my bag is here, and I ironed the bag, but I did not wash it. So I could, and here's the deal with that. When you buy fabric items, you need to wash them. They have sizing in them. It's a coating that's placed on the fabric to help it press and stay crisp in shipping and for shopping and packaging. So normally that all gets washed off because that can affect how this stays adhered. I didn't wash these bags because generally I don't wash tote bags and I'm not having problems with adhesion. However, where this can be an issue is in the washing. Washing can be a little problematic because when the size washes out, you can lift the whole pattern off of the surface because the size is a barrier coating between the adhesive and the fabric. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I tell everybody, always wash all your fabric projects ahead of time. Okay, so now I've got some pre-cut heat transfer vinyl adhesive shapes. I just gotta find them. That's a snowflake, that's a snowflake. That's not what I was looking for. I have Christmas ornaments all over the place, so I'm trying to find all my little pre-cut Christmas ornaments. I got a lot of snowflakes over here. Where are my ornaments? Okay, here are a couple more. Couple more ornaments, and I swear I had a couple more than that. They might have slid out of my folder that I had stashed all of them in. That can happen. Because I usually take a manila folder like this home, weed all my patterns, and then put them back in the folder. But that doesn't mean things cannot slide out. I'm sure you've all experienced the infamous, oh crap, I put it in the folder and now it's not there moment. But we got lots of stuff, and we'll probably do some snowflakes as well, but I'm starting with ornaments. I'm gonna grab my scissor and I'm gonna cut these apart. And I have to be very careful because I move things together very, very snugly on my Cricut so that I could get two of them on that little piece of paper or on that little piece of heat transfer vinyl adhesive. I weed out the centers and then put them away. I do not weed out the outer band around the shape because this surface is sticky. And we had some issues with this yesterday. If you do this, you weed the whole thing and then you put it aside for a day or so, it picks up stuff. A couple of mine had dog fur in them because I was doing them at my house and I have little dogs, and I obviously set something down near dog fur. So you definitely want to really pay attention to how you do this. And I find that just, if I want to keep them cleaner, I don't weed the whole thing out completely. I just do the inside and then save the outside bit for right before I'm about to transfer it. I'm gonna pull my sleeves back too because my sweater will deposit fuzz into this adhesive backing, and I've already got a little piece of pine needle on here that I have to pull off. So this is standard stuff. It's nothing scary, nothing bad. You just have to pay attention to it. Come on, come off of there. There we go. And then I'm gonna take my ornaments. I'll put one there. And one there. I'll stick one. Trying to put them a little randomly, but not necessarily all in the same pattern. I mean, I could turn it upside down if I wanted to, but ornaments don't make a lot of sense if you start turning them upside down. Put that one there, and we'll do that one. A little bit like that. There we go. Okay. Of course, placing is always a big part of the deal. Now, I have my iron set on wool. This is my iron. Not every iron sets the same, so you're going to have to do a little practicing with this. You're going to have to test to see which heat setting works best with your iron with this. You don't want to get it too hot. Some irons work best on a synthetic. Some irons work better on a silk. Some irons work better on wool. Mine works best on wool. If you have a t-shirt machine, you know, one of those hot heat presses, the manufacturer's recommendations are to set it for 325, press down with the heat the heat press for about 5 seconds on the vinyl, like this, and then when you're ready to foil, you press the foil for about 12 to 15 seconds. Now, when you're doing this with an iron, move it around, but keep a little pressure on it, and then check your transfer. This should be, okay, making sure my iron's good and hot. This should take a few seconds of heat on here to melt the adhesive onto the fabric, and then you want to peel it back while it's still hot. If you wait until it cools, you will not get an empty, clear release on here. What'll happen is it'll all gum up and rip up, and you will have a bad, bad, bad transfer. So I've got that one on there. I'm gonna do this one over here. And you can't see this real well on here, but you can catch the shine of it. So I've got 100% release right there. And then we're gonna do this other one. Let's hope that pulls back. Oh yes, it pulls back nice. Now, if you're doing a big one of these, you're going to have to heat the whole thing and then basically peel it back. Do this so I don't ruin anything here. Peel it back with the iron like that, because otherwise it will get cold by the time you get to the bottom and you're going to have a really bad release. And that's for something that's quite large. These little ones, they're easy. All right, let's pick a couple of different foils to use for our other ornaments. So here I've got which one is this? This is Galaxy Glitter. I have to really reach into the memory to try to remember which one some of these are. I have no memory left anymore. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that feeling. Okay, and if you put this down on here while it's a little warm, the foil will start to grab onto it immediately because foil likes heat. it likes to grab on with heat. It likes to release with heat. All right, we're going to do a little Garrison glitter on this one. Yep, there we go. I'll make sure this is wide enough because I have one little skinny spot on this foil. Okay, so I've got those stuck on there because it's still slightly warm. And then, where did I put it? There it is. Oh, out of my reach. We're going to put a piece of parchment paper down on here. And the reason is that even though this is designed for heat, once you get past a certain point with your iron, wool can get too hot for the plastic film that holds the foil. So I like to put a piece of either, an ironing cloth or a piece of parchment paper or something like that over it so that I don't melt that mounting film that holds the foil on it. I've done it. See right there on the edge? That's the last bit of the last foil I melted on here. And it was a lot of work to get it off. So we're gonna iron on here. We're gonna get it good and warm. We're gonna move it around. Because even with the parchment, I don't want to take the chance of scorching any paper underneath. And let's see how they look like. They're fairly well bonded. And then I always like to do a quick pass like this with my iron. I don't want to do it many times. I just want a little quick pass because that superheats that and then allows it to stay really well adhered. So while that one is working over there, we're going to work on this side. And I have some trees that I want to put behind that one. Okay. Now these were weeded out, but we're going to put a couple trees here. I've got to move this a little so I can finish plucking the outside around this. Okie dokie. This will take a few seconds because this is a fairly detailed cut and I want to get every last detail weeded out correctly. Even though I got the insides, the outside still has to be removed and removed well. Okay, got that going over there. Let's get on one side here. And take your time with this. Do not rush it so you don't want to ruin your design because you were trying so hard to get it off fast. And I've done it. Now on my Cricut Maker, my Cricut Maker, when I cut these, I have the pressure setting. The material I choose is stencil vinyl, because they don't have any specific listing for heat transfer vinyl adhesive. So I choose stencil vinyl because that's about the correct thickness. And then I choose more pressure instead of default. And that cuts through this really, really well. And the more pressure is actually important, not just because of the thickness, but more because this stuff is kind of gummy stretchy. And that extra pressure guarantees a cleaner cut. At least that's what I have found from my Cricut Maker. There we go. The trees are slowly emerging. And you just need a little patience. Actually, I love doing this. It's not very exciting to watch on camera, but I love doing this. I find it very, really weirdly relaxing. Come on off of there, you little stinker. And I do talk to my projects. I coerce, I cajole, I wheedle, I plead for them all to come off correctly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's peel this back again because it all flipped over and wanted to stick down, but it's not stuck down as hard as it was the first time. So I'm going to trim this a little bit, just to get all the extra stuff off of here and out of my way. And don't throw this stuff out. If you have a bad release, you might want it for patching. And I'll show you how to patch if we have a release that requires it. There we go. There's some of the trees finally showing. That middle part was messy because of all of these little details in here. It was not an easy one to get weeded. Now, if I miss any questions, don't worry, I'll go back through this and answer. But do not hesitate to ask a question. If I'm saying anything that's not clear or doesn't make sense, tell me, because I need to know that I'm not helping you the way I think I am. All right, we've got that one, and there's the other one. I had two of these, so you're gonna have to actually watch me weed out two of these because there is a double plan for this. So what I'm going to do is to make the back end of this look like a tree lot. This one was cut all the way down to the edge, so there'll be trees that sit down lower, and then these two will sit up a little higher, so it looks like a true tree lot behind them. So we're gonna have to apply one round first, and then we'll do another one second. Let's see where the top of this is. Okay, chunk to throw to the side. That's a lot of stuff to pull off there. The stuff likes to stick to its backing tape too, so definitely have patience. Normally I have a piece of tape or something sitting next to me to offload these little bits, but for whatever reason my hands are warm, so it's been sticking to my hands during the weeding today. And that keeps all the little bits of transfer vinyl from flying around my studio. Put that over to the side. let's cut a little of this off so it's a little easier to weed again. When it's big pieces like that, it's very hard to control, and it's easy to have it flop back or to tear a spot that you didn't mean to tear. So I like to kind of take pieces off and cut them down so it's a little more manageable. There's that one. And let's get whatever that piece is that's stuck there, because it's not stuck to anything for a reason. And there we go, all of it off. I just got a little snippet of something stuck right there. Okay, so now we'll pull this back. And we're gonna put this up. Let's see. Need to place it so it's on the bag, but quite frankly, if you look, my tree pattern's a little wider than my bag. So while I've got that sitting there, I'm just gonna trim off this little bit so I don't accidentally bond it to the paper. That just goes away. All right, so we're gonna press this down. And we're gonna keep pressing until it is completely stuck. Completely melted, completely stuck. And because I do have two shapes on here, I have to pay attention that I'm not just going over one, that I get the whole thing completely melted correctly, because otherwise I'm not gonna have a good release and it's just gonna make the bag look bad. Now let's hope that heated up and I can peel it back nicely. Oh yes, there we go. Now I got a little bit of a tear off on one spot, so I'll probably have to patch that up later, but I might not, because I'm going to be putting another thing over it. So this is the spot that I didn't get heated up well enough, and that's why it left stuff stuck to that and not completely stuck to the tote bag. Sorry, I'm lost my words for a minute there. I was thinking about what I was looking for. So you're seeing I'm using our green confetti foil for this, and this matches the trees, but we're gonna do a second set of trees in another shade of green so that there's a little more depth and interest to it than just one shade of green. That little bit to stick right down there. Okay, smooth this over. Now, what I'm gonna tell you is you won't see it this time because this has been ironed over a couple times, but the first time you do this foiling, the foil looks one way. If you have to do a second pass over it, it will subtly change the shimmer on it. It's not a bad thing, it just is what that does. So we'll do this. We're gonna iron on our trees. And again, take some time, don't rush it. sure you get the whole surface on there. Use a little pressure. Now, occasionally I do use steam, not because the steam penetrates the plastic and helps it melt better, but the steam is hot, 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 and the extra heat will sometimes increase the release. And that's all I'm doing. It's not like it's gonna penetrate all this stuff and steam the fabric or make the foil do something different. It's just another form of heat. Okay, now that I've done that, I think there might be a little more foil needed right in that edge, because that was sticking there when I pulled the paper up. Maybe, maybe not, we'll find out. And just put that right there. We'll see what happens when I do this. We're gonna find out. All right, so I'm just gonna take my iron and do a quick pass over this. Just the extra heat to make sure it's completely bonded to the trees. I don't want to lose any little bit of the detail since I know I've already got a repair spot to deal with. Now that's got to cool. These have to be completely cool before you take them off, otherwise you get a bad transfer. All right, so here's my candy cane. And I have a darling big tree that I think I want to put right there with the candy cane, and we'll do snowflakes on the other side. All right, so let me pull the exterior off of this tree. And again, I'm gonna have to pull a little bit of dog fur. I have little black dogs. One's a Chihuahua mix, one is a Yorkie Maltese Poodle mix. And given that that was a straight hair, I'd say that that came from the Chihuahua mix. If it was a little curly hair, then it was from the other dog. My dogs like to snuggle up next to me while I'm doing stuff like this. God bless them. They're like, I don't know if they want me for me or they just want me for the body heat in the cold weather. But it makes for a fun snuggly day. So all of this stuff is actually glue. So every time you're throwing, that's why I'm really careful about when I cut this. If I can save any of this, like if I wasn't doing this for a demo, I probably would have cut that piece and I would have cut that piece and saved it for another small project, because you know, this is, I hate throwing away good product. It makes me nuts. I know that it doesn't, it's not everybody's like that, but oh my God, it bugs the crap out of me to throw away usable product. All right, got to get the handles of the bag out of the way, and so we're going to put our tree right there. Now this released really nicely on the other bag where it said, believe in the magic of Christmas, so let's hope I can get it to release as well on this, because that tree came out so cute. I really would like this one to come out just as nice. Now the tree pattern on this is not words, it's got a little mandala pattern like that matches the candy cane. feeling a little lump under here. I want to make sure there's nothing under there that I'm ironing that I shouldn't. So really pay attention to your design because it's easy to miss spots, especially when you're working with white fabric or light colored fabric. You're gonna have to count on the reflection from light in the area to see whether or not it's melted completely. Let's see if I can get a little light there. And let me check. I'm not loving my angle on this camera. I feel like you're not seeing as much. Whoops, sorry. My camera chose to go on its own. There we go. No, I don't want that. There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. The camera is like having a fit right now. Now, clearly I've had that heat sitting on there, so that's going to be well melted. But let me see if I can get the angle down a little better. There we go. So here we go. I'm ironing this. This spot's really well melted because I was holding the iron on there while I was trying to adjust the camera, keep it from falling over. All right, let's pull this back, roll it back. And there was a little bad release right in that spot because that spot was not hot enough. So I'll come back, I'll smush it down, I'll reheat it, and then I will re-release it. That's better. Now see, that got a little cool there, so I got to come back and I got to rewarm it. Otherwise, it will not release properly. There we go. Go on, you little stinker, little lump right there. So I have one little spot right here that did not release properly. Let me see if I can get that to release off of here. That worked. And then we'll see after I release the foil if there's any patching needed. And I will show you how to patch. All right, so I'm thinking, I've got all these cool greens and stuff to work with, but I think maybe we'll try the blue-green tie-dye on the tree. That would be kind of a fun one. A little different from the other greens that I've been using. Now, this, as you can see, this is going to overlap a little. So I might take, just to protect it, a little piece of the red foil. Because there might be some exposed foil under here that heat could release. So if I was concerned, I could take a little bit of the foil there. I have to be careful how I place it because the tip of a tree branch is right there. So I'm going to take a little foil, place it there. Any place that the green foil would overlap the red, I might want to do this. Not always an issue, just occasionally. I want to be sure that I don't mix my colors up. And then I'm going to take my parchment. And again, we're going to go back. And see, I knew I was going to have to hit that red with my iron because I had the tip of the tree right there. So I want to make sure that I don't accidentally release green on the candy cane in a way that I don't want it there. Okay. Let's go this way. And again, I'm set, well, that one, and I can knock my temperature down. So keep an eye on the temperature of your iron too, because I thought I had it on wool and it was on silk, which is part of the reason I didn't have the release the way I thought it was going to release. My temperature wasn't consistent. So you got to learn to fix and to adjust and to bob and weave with whatever happens. Okay, so I've pretty well adhered that. I can see it through the paper. But again, I'm going to do a quick pass with my iron to make sure that all of the transfer adhesive is fused to the foil without melting the foil. Gotta be careful about doing that. I have done it. I showed you earlier. I melted it right to this iron. Not one of my prouder moments, but it was something I learned from. Okay, so now that's gonna have to cool, so we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna go on this side, I think. And we're gonna do some snowflakes, because I have many of them. I need to move the foils to one side and then transfer vinyl to the other, because when they get mixed up, things get stuck together. Okay, let's find my snowflakes. That's holly. Here we go, here's snowflakes. There we go. And each of these clear, none of these are pre-weeded in any way, shape, or form because there were no little center spaces that I had to be concerned about. There we go. Let go. Okay, almost done on this one. I just gotta clean out a few of the little details. And so here is our first snowflake. I'll just plop it on. I am not getting crazy about my placement because if I think about it less, the random placement is better. So I got a little piece of the leftover stuff stuck to the transfer that I'm about to try to release the adhesive from. Go. And these are the little scrap pieces like I was talking about before. You can see from their odd shape. These are little scrap pieces that I keep when I trim off a cut like that big Christmas tree, because there's at least enough space on there for 1 or 2 snowflakes or something else that I might need to cut. Don't like to waste this kind of stuff. Take a look in this. I thought there was something else in the center for a detail, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, just a piece of stuff stuck on there. So here's our second snowflake. There, get one right there. I'm making sure that I don't have any extra little bits of the adhesive stuck to things, because if they're stuck to this film and I iron it, they become part of the final look, and that's not really what we were all aiming for. Okay, this is one that's not going to be as easy to see, so I need to take one of my little finger lights that we ship with any of their stencil vinyl orders, either plain stencil vinyl or pre-cut designs. I always try to make sure you have a way to see it. There we go. I just needed the starting spot. That's what I wanted to come and break. Okay, and here is our next snowflake pattern. Okay, now I gotta pull the bag top out so I can flip another snowflake on there. There's a couple different ones, and here's number 1, 2, 3, 6. We have 6 snowflakes to use. That one had little ones that I could have weeded out from the center, but I think I just missed that when I was sitting at home weeding everything else. All these little diamond shapes popped out, and then we can weed the snowflakes completely. I'm so proud of myself for missing this little thing, so you have to sit here and watch me pluck little tiny diamonds shapes out. Now lift something somewhere, get that off of there so those don't stick. This is why I usually have tape around, so those little pieces of stuff are stuck to a piece of tape and not just floating around the table, because they end up stuck back to the mounting film, the clear mounting film that's adhesive. Ugh, what a pain. Okay, there we go. There's one of those little diamonds that I plucked out stuck to that I want to make go away. And we're going to cut these carefully in half so that I don't lose any of the pattern for one side or the other. Boy, did I mount those too close when I cut them. All right, this is the same as one of these, so we'll put that one there. We'll put that one there. Maybe not. I'll put, oh, I got snowflakes everywhere. Final one to mount, and we'll put that in the corner. This is going to be a little challenging one. It's a little bigger and it's a little fluffier, but it is all one continuous weeding out of stuff. Well, maybe there's a lot of little details that have to be weeded out of this one, so I may take a second and do it off camera. Man, this is going to be a lot of weeding on this one, because it did not really do what I thought it was going to do, and that's completely on me. I think what I want to do is come over here and dig into this mess, because this might actually work better the way I'm thinking about it. Pluck off this extra bit here. When you do this a few times, you'll find that pulling the adhesive over a pattern in some directions is more successful than in others. So sometimes when I have a really tight design, if I pull into the design from the outside, I get a lot more weeded out a lot faster. That did just what I was hoping it would do. Then again, sometimes it doesn't weed out that simply. So you gotta come back in and clean stuff up. Ugh, it's making me crazy. I've got little bits of sticky stuff everywhere. Stop that, go away. All right, come on, let it go. There's that one. One. Let's go. What's going on in here? Sometimes the way these things cut, because it doubles back on itself, you might have some weird ways that it looks, and you just have to follow the pattern. So when we send our pre-cut heat transfer vinyl adhesives, we will usually send a photo with it so it's easier to read the pattern. And if you're cutting it yourself and it's super detailed and you're not sure, print a picture of what you cut on your own. And as soon as I get all of these cut and foiled, I'll flip the camera up, I'll check for your questions, and yeah, ask whatever you need to ask. I'm here to answer for you. Just give me the time to get this weeded. So this is going to take a minute. And of course, if you cannot stand sitting here and watching somebody play with stuff like this, okay, might be a moment to back away. Give me 5 or 6 minutes to finish the deal, and then come back and watch everything else. I always turn it around so I can get the most light reflecting on things so I can see it best. And when I can't see anything, then I pull out the little light. So far I'm able to find everything. Let's see, what am I looking at here? There we go. Sorry, I get very quiet when I'm focusing on what I need to do so that I don't screw it up. I think I actually cut this over another design, which is why it's taking me so many little tiny cuts and pieces to weed everything. It's probably a cut I didn't like, so I repurposed my piece of adhesive here, which makes the cutting a lot, which makes the weeding slower. I have a lot more little pieces to remove. Get all this stuff off my hands. It likes to stick to my skin. That's why I'm, putting the extra little bits on the back of my hand, because it just makes it easier than having it floating around the table where it readheres to the surface, like these little bits and pieces I'm pulling out of the corner. Normally I use a piece of tape, but I didn't think I was going to be dealing with my own messy cuttings like this. Yeah, well, everything happens, and I just get to figure out what I goofed on it and how to make it better. And I'm okay with that. We're almost done. And I thank you all for your patience and sticking with me while I do this. This is clearly, this really was the one I should have weeded at home. La-di-da. Getting there. I really wanted to show this one to you because it's probably the laciest, most delicate of the cutouts. And of course, that's part of why it takes so long. That and the fact that I think I cut another design over it. I'm seeing a different snowflake showing with this design. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I'm feeling very smart right now. Come on, get out of there. Let's wipe my hand off, make sure I got all of this off of my hands, and then I can make sure it's all off of here too. A little extra sticky bits that we don't want. There's one. Okay, that should do it. Oops, there's a little sticky bit right there that doesn't belong. Okay, so we're going to put that one right here in the corner. Finally, they're all on. Sorry about that, just took forever. All right, so let's press this on here. Now this is an awkward corner. There's a little lump because of all the folding and everything. So you got to pay attention to how you're doing it. You really want to work the iron over all the adhesive so it all fuses to the fabric without ruining the other designs. Okay, make sure my iron's set correctly. Another thing to check. Oh, I must have picked up a little adhesive or something. So under here, I have several sheets of parchment and brown paper. This works better on a hard surface as opposed to an ironing board. So because my tables have plastic on them, I don't want to ruin the table. I don't want to ruin my iron with the plastic. I don't want to ruin the table by melting plastic to it. So I have to kind of work around what I've got. And this seems to have been my best solution, which is several layers of parchment and brown paper on top of the surface. Because an ironing board is too soft and it won't release well. Now we're going to have a little bit of an iffy release. I didn't have a great perfect release there, but it's the corner of the bag, so I'm okay with that. That's it. I was literally having issues releasing where the lumps were, and I knew that could be a problem. All right, let's work on our other snowflakes. Nicely. And bingo, perfect. Nicely done. Okay, let's work on those two. Doo-doo-doo. Let's see how well those have melted. In just a second, I want to keep warming it. Do not rush. Like I said, if you rush, you get bad release. Perfectly, and so did that one. So this is our final one over here. glob of the vinyl on the tip of my iron because it's wanting to grab on things. I love when I do stuff like that. That's why I'm not getting it well heated, because I'm fighting that spot. And a perfect release, and it stuck to the iron because there was a little bit of vinyl adhesive on my iron. So I take it against the parchment paper over there, right here on the edge. That's not plastic, it's parchment paper. That helps to let me release it. All right, so let's work on our snowflake colors. We're gonna use some holographic zigzag. I think we'll use some glitter. We'll have some good patterns going. And I'm gonna do 3 different patterns, so they'll each be mounted onto a snowflake, and then we'll put the parchment over it to do the final ironing. Off of there. Okay, there's a little piece to go on that. And let's take that down there. Let's see, we got our twinkle stars, 3D glitter star, or holographic glitter stars. We'll use some of that. And then by the time I've ironed all of this, I should be able to pull the foils from the first bag and release the foils that need to be finished on our little truck. I think we're gonna have some fun with that. Okay, there's that one, can go there, and that can go there. And where's this one? We have our, which one is this? Cracked ice. This is our holographic cracked ice. So we'll have a bunch of different silvers releasing slightly different patterns, and that'll give some variety to the snowflakes by pattern, not just the shape. Laid down on there. Good Lord, everything is sticking to me today. I'm feeling like that Steel Magnolia line. I've tracked so much stuff. The only thing that doesn't stick to me is men and money. Okay, so we've got that on there. Let's make sure to evenly apply this to everything. So the first move, is I'm coming over here, and everything will be tacked down with heat. And then I can come back and work it with the heat. But when you have that many little pieces floating around, basically you'd like to just get it tacked down so it doesn't slide. Now the tote bags come, I think I got them at Joann, but I'm sure you can get them at Michael's too. I got them at Joann Fabrics. They come in bulk packs. They're very reasonably priced. I think the two white ones were $9.99 for the pack of 2. Don't ask me what the beige one was. I don't remember, but I want to say maybe $6.99. It was in a solo pack, so it wasn't extremely expensive. It just wasn't as cheap as the 2-pack of these. Yep, there we go. I don't want to. This is the other reason I hate all these little bits of stuff floating around. I like them stuck to tape because I keep finding them stuck to the base of my iron. It makes me nuts. So when you're weeding stuff, consider getting some tape. The adhesive wants to grab on the foil then wants to pull up instead of being pressed down. So we're gonna move the, see how that's wanting to stick? That's because I have some of that heat transfer vinyl adhesive right on the corner of my stupid iron, and it's annoying because it wants to grab and it's not helping me. That's why having all these little fluffy bits around is not helpful. That's where you get into this mess. Everything seems to be bonded. Get that one. I want to check that top one just once more. Right over here. It's a very good adhesive. My iron certainly likes to stick to stuff that doesn't even normally stick, like parchment paper. Okay, so we're gonna set that to the side. Let's come back to our little truck and our ornaments. So first we're gonna pop the ornaments off of here. Oh, those are so cute. Now, I think I'm gonna need some more because I think I was thinking about putting the snowflakes on this, but that didn't happen, so I'll cut some more and we'll finish the bag another day. I'm gonna peel my trees back. Oh, those look cute. Look how cute that looks. Okay, so that goes there. So it looks like it's driving away already, but we're gonna take our other two trees, which go down, not upside down, just down, a little lower. I'd like to get a little more tree on here, but I do want to cover up that oops spot. All right, let me trim this edge. And the fact that there's some foil stuck here on the edge of this adhesive sheet like this because it grabbed, that won't make a difference on anything. It will not show in the end. Oh, I know what I was gonna put on the other side. I had little holly shapes to cut out and scatter around, but I'm not gonna do that on this live. I'll save it for a little later. All right, let's get the adhesive down. Again, I'm fighting my iron right now because the iron really does have heat transfer vinyl adhesive on it. I need to get it off. It's making me cuckoo because it's sticking. And if you get struggling with this, like I'm fighting it with the iron because of the stickiness, grab the parchment paper, put it on there, and just go like this. Put a little barrier layer right between them so that if your iron's gotten gooey like mine did, you've got some protection and you won't melt. You won't have the plastic carrier film stuck to your iron forever. All right, that should help me some there. So I'm gonna do this. This hopefully is hot enough to peel it back well. Not on that spot, it's not. Okay, I need a little more heat down here. Come on. Fellas, come on, let it go down here. That spot just does not like to release. It's probably because there's a seam there. You can see I was fighting it, but I'll patch it together and I'll show you how we do a patch repair. Okay. We're going to use hunter green on the other trees so that there's some nice variation in the color and depth on here. That'll make this a really nice finished look. Okay, that's stuck there. So this clearly the putting the heat on and the vinyl transfer adhesive works better on a smooth flat surface. When you get into like seamed areas or ridges, it becomes much harder to get a clean release. I knew that going in, but it's good for you all to be able to see it. Up. And I'm not worrying if I get a little green transfer on my truck. It won't amount to much. Let's do that. Get this all stuck as far as it's going to go. And we have to let that cool. Okay, back to our candy cane bags. And this should give me a really, oh, look how cute that is. Now I have a little bit of spot right there. I didn't get a great release. So you don't want to go back over those spots that you might not have had stick well with the foil that you already exposed to heat. You won't get a good release. It just doesn't like that. You need a little bit of fresh adhesive. It will be much happier with that kind of a release. I'm going to cut a little strip. I'm going to take a little piece and I'm going to come right over here on that spot, and with my iron I'm just going to kind of basically spot weld it. I'm going to come in there, put heat on it, make sure it's stuck to the point that it wasn't bonded to before. And that works because there's adhesive there. But what happens when I've got a little spot like this that's not really good and I don't have any adhesive on it? Well, I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna take some, see all this leftover stuff here? I'm gonna take a couple clean pieces of it. Okay, so I've got a little strip here. So first I'm going to take a piece, cut it in half, because I've got two spots to deal with, and then I'm going to measure, because I'm going to have to trim it a little too. My scissors desperately need sharpening, so be patient with me. These used to be fabric scissors and everybody used them, so now they got really dull. And I find that not my favorite thing. Okay, I'm going to take this other little piece that I trimmed and I'm going to take it over to this spot of the star, and I'm going to trim this side. I'm going to cut that, I think, a little bit first. Let's see how that looks. All right, are you all doing your Christmas shopping yet? Are you waiting for Black Friday? You got any special shopping holiday traditions? I know my holiday tradition for Black Friday is to avoid the mall and to stay home and decorate for Christmas. That's really what I do. Okay, so now I have that piece on there. Normally I would have it mounted to a carrier film and I would do it that way, but because I'm just patching, I'm going to put that on the surface, and then I'm going to put the foil over it, and then I'm going to take my parchment And that's what I'm gonna do. It will heat bond the whole thing, and once it cools, the foil will come off and leave me a clean line repair. If this kind of patching, you can always cut like part of the shape out again and repair it that way. This may, I prefer to patch it a little bit because the patches come out very clean once they're done. All right, so I've got that bonded, but I'm gonna come back with my iron, add a little extra pressure, a little extra heat in that spot. Gotta watch my temperature. I was starting to knock it up too high. Was heading right into the linen phase. Okay. So that should be done in just a second. Let it cool off. I'm gonna flip up and look at the camera and see what everybody's got questions about, if they have any. Let's move our camera up just a little bit. All right. Wow, thank you so much, everybody, for popping in. There's tons of you been in and out of here. Thank you. Doesn't seem like you have any questions. Seems like it's fairly self-explanatory, at least from the way I'm doing it. And of course, you see me make my messes and mistakes, so you learn what not to do. And let's see how we're doing with this temperature-wise. Should be cool. All right, that, as I told you, this one was going to be a little fragmented because I was in that corner and I'm dealing with the seam, I was dealing with the fold, I was dealing with the underseam. So that wasn't a perfect release. Let me flip back down so that you all can see the rest of this. Now that snowflake came out really well. Oh, these are all coming out really nicely. It was the one in the corner, the hardest to weed, the biggest pain in the neck. Yep, that's right. That's the one that was going to be a pain. This one just had a little spot on the end that needed a little more heat on it. So that'll cool in a minute. I'll peel that one off. Let's move things around so I don't set anything on fire or burn myself. That one, little rougher release, but it's still super cute. So if I'm not happy, I know there's more foil adhesive under there. I can take another piece of my foil, come back, and rebond. Ow. Oh, that went way up. Temperature went way up on that. This is what happens when your iron's too hot. It crinkles and basically melts it. That was not what I had intended to happen, so I'm gonna fix that. I'll take another piece of foil and repair it with that. That's all used. I'm just trying to get rid of the used stuff so I don't accidentally grab it and try to use it again. Go. And like I said, sometimes I will do a little steam, not because it penetrates the film, but because it adds extra heat. If you have ever put your hand over a steaming hot pot versus a hot pot, you're likely to get burned with the steam more because it's carrying the heat up somewhere. So let's let that cool. Hopefully that'll do a little more release on there. And we've patched our tree. Nice and neat. That worked out really well. So let me flip this for a second, cool this off. Don't put these in the freezer to cool them too fast. Don't put them outside. Let them cool naturally. I'm pushing it right now because we're on a live, but I got a little better release on that, so I'm happy that worked. So we've got our candy cane tote bag with snowflakes on the other side. We have our Christmas truck that I have to release the foil on, or like pull the foil off of. We have our Believe in the Magic of Christmas bag that's a little more rustic with our Santa on the other side. And then we have our truck. this should be good and cool. Okay, that was exactly what I wanted to have happen, but I do need to fix right there. So clearly I need a little bit of foil adhesive. Our heat transfer vinyl. I have all these big pieces that are all cut out. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm just going to patch it in here. Now, my repair is not going to look perfect because it's not, you know, the original stencil cut, but it will look better than the patchy mess that I have here. So I'm just sort of cleaning up where this needs to go. Hear my neighbors chatting. I have a pet store right next door to me, and I can hear him talking right now with his neighbor, with his customer. It's kind of entertaining. All right, let's get that fixed right there. Trim this a little better right here because I'm making the tree trunk huge and it's not. Okay, so I've got that on. I'm going to clean this up a little bit right here because otherwise I'm going to lose some of the little specialty details in there. And because, you know, it's already a little sticky, the foil likes to stick to the adhesive likes to stick to the foil. So, you know, take advantage of that. And it's grabbing onto the foil that's already on there. So it'll make the repair a little easier. There we go. I'll take a piece of fresh green. Extra here, cut it in half or cut it in a piece so it just covers what I need it to cover. And then the parchment goes over the whole thing. And again, check your temperatures. I had to check mine. I knocked, because of the shape of my hands, the way I hold things, I can knock my temperature lever up or down. So really pay attention, be careful. And I'm just going to hold this on here for a minute, maybe shove a little steam to create some extra heat. I just want to make sure it's all stuck down hard. All right, so now that's going to go sit over here and cool off. So, thank you all for popping by. This is kind of a long one. I've been on for a while, and now I've got you watching the top of my head. I've been on for a little while. The bags take a little time. All of this heat transfer takes a little time. So I appreciate your patience with it all. And enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody. I will be back working on Saturday. I'm taking the next 2 days off. And I have a feeling so is Renee. We all should be taking a little time and taking some rest time. And I will see you back this weekend. Have a great one, everyone. Thanks.